All right. Good evening, everyone, and
Good evening, Mr.
welcome
Charles.
to this session. Please, you can put yourself on mute when you want to contribute. You can unmute yourself. So, all right. We are starting from the beginning, and you can see there's a bit of changes, and our company name have changed. We are now Monified. Monified is registered. I can't call us bank for it now. Let's just call ourselves financial company because we are working towards our licenses. Is when we get the license we get to determine what we are. But all our application is ready, everything is ready. So we are still doing a bit of integration and things like that. But we're out, we are ready for business. And I want to welcome all of you to Modify, where you are going to be doing the internship, and we are going to continue on a CRM project. So we've done it. We want us to, recopy or reproduce what we did for PayEagle, and it's going to make things easier for you. After this, I will go to our course portal. I'll create a fresh bootcamp called Modify Pro CRM Project, and I will onboard you people all there so that we won't be having confusion. So if this is an opportunity, being in PayEagle will help you. You already know a lot of things. But this time we are going to be as fast as we can in order to finish within the time allocated. We are not going to do this for more than 3 months, highest 2-3 months. We should be done with this bootcamp and projects. And so I'm not going to come and start saying introduction to project management, introduction to business analysis. We've gone past that stage. So what we are here is to understand our role as a project manager, as a business analyst, and when you want to start a project as a business analyst or as a project manager, where do you start? That is where we are going to start from. So we're going to look at our work breakdown structure. We see all the deliverables, tasks, activities. I did it last time, but when I was, most of you didn't attend. And again, because we are trying to start a fresh project in Monify, I want to restart it again so that everything will be uniform and everything will be fresh. And I don't want a situation you will say, I don't know what this deliverable is. I don't know what, for instance, saying I don't know what is kickoff meeting. I don't know what is project brief. I don't know because before I start, you guys have done project. So we are starting everything from the scratch so that everybody will be carried along. So that's it. And after then, if you have any other question, you need clarification, we'll talk about it. So let's move. We already have 15 minutes past 7. So let's just get started. I'll start sharing my screen now. So Madam Amaka, you're welcome. Came late. Yeah. All right.
Oh, thank you, Charles. I'm still at work.
Okay.
Just enter the toilet.
All right. As well. Okay. Okay, this is where what we did last time. So I want to start from the beginning so that we know what to do and what not to do by every rule. And this is what I call project life cycle and work breakdown structure. We want to see the stages of a project. Looking at projects is called project life cycle here. We call it work breakdown structure. So you see here, we break all the items here into stages. You see the initiate in green. All you need to do are these stages. Then if you come to define stage, execute stage, and closure stage. If you are now hired as a project manager, as a business analyst, where do you start? This is where the confusion, a lot of people have come. I don't even know where to start. After this, we are not going to tell me you don't know where to start. You know, as long as, even if you forget everything I said, and you have these documents, just follow this document sequentially. Simple. Once you follow it sequentially, you should be able to deliver a project. You, as a project manager, as a business analyst, you know where you belong, what is expected of you within the project. This is one of the key questions they are always going to ask you during the interview as a project manager. How do you start a project? How do you approach a project? As a business analyst, how do you approach a project? How do you start a project? So, giving you these documents as an expo, if you have an interview, you can easily tell them what to do when you receive a project brief. Then you can identify your stakeholders. And you see here, I said this is the activities, what you need to do to start a project from the beginning, from initiate stage. All of us know what initiate means. I mean, when you try to start, that is initiate. And this is the activities sequentially. I don't need to come and start writing it number one, number two. We'll pass that stage. And here you see owners of all these activities here. So you know that as a project manager, you are the project leader, you need to be briefed of what to do. That is what we mean by project brief. Some people can call it project mandate. What is briefing? Briefing is that I, Charles, the project sponsor, hired you, Abiola Paul, to implement a CRM for my organization. It's not enough that I hired you and I want to implement CRM. And so I need a proper briefing. Briefing can be in terms of a document, handing over the document to you, telling you, in this document, you see everything we want you to help us achieve in this project. Then you go and study the project brief. It's left for you to, after studying the project brief, if you have questions, you ask some questions. Sometimes project brief is not going to be a document. The project sponsor can invite you on a one-on-one, sit you down, say, Mr. Paul, you are welcome to our company. in this project, I start telling you the problem. I'll have to start by telling you our challenges, what we're passing through. Why do we want to implement this project? And tell you everything we want you to know about this project, how much we want to spend on this project, how long we want this project to last, and things like that. If you have questions, then you can answer. You can ask some question. Sorry, you can ask some question, and the question will be answered. So that is project brief. I don't think all of us here must have seen how a project brief looks like. So we all know what project brief. We are going to issue another project brief we are going to use for this particular project. Is now Modify CRM, not PayEco CRM. So we know what to do. The first thing is to receive the instruction, project briefing from the higher authority, the client or the project sponsor. Once that is done, you need to identify stakeholders and their expectations. Identify stakeholders and their expectations is not only the project sponsor that might be the project stakeholder. You can't say, well, I have spoken with the stakeholder. What do I need? He's not the only stakeholder. For instance, in a CRM project, the person who might be the stakeholder might be the HOD of sales department. But that HOD might not even going to be using the CRM system because he's a big man. There are people that are going to be using that CRM system on daily basis, day-to-day activity, that like people like sales rep, sales manager, marketing agent. All these people are going to be using such system on daily basis. The person in the chat in the person of project sponsor, his role is to authorize that project and get approval. Maybe if a big organization, try to seek for funding for organization to release money, funding for that project. You know, that is, he's at the executive level. He's a business leader. They are not that small stakeholders who will be using. So that is the need for you to identify all the stakeholders. Sales rep is a stakeholder. All the people that are using the system is a stakeholder. So the same thing in other projects we are going to be involved in, not only CRM system. CRM system is just an example. So you need to understand stakeholders and their expectation. What is their expectations? The expectation is what are the problems they want to, you know, solve, the pain point they are having. We call it pain point. That is the right word, or challenges they want to use this to solve. You need to understand how a sales rep has been struggling, trying to manage lead manually. So that is it. And when that is done, based on the fact you've understand what they want you to, it's going to be easier for you to break everything down. We call it breakdown structure. Just like the way I've broken this into stages to help me manage, you need to break your work. At early stage, you need to create a work breakdown structure to help you understand what needs to be done. If you are working alone or if you are working with team, you try to understand what everybody, but the main thing is break it down in this order. You know, if you like, you can add owners at this point, but adding owners at this point might not be necessary. But when you continue to build on the work breakdown structure, you might want to add add what everybody needs to be done. So, and this will bring us to what we call racing metrics. Racing metrics will help us to define roles and responsibilities for everybody. So defining roles and responsibilities here, that is when you start saying who is going to assemble project team. It says project manager. Who is going to do this? That's when the importance of defining roles and responsibility. You need to do this as a project manager before you invite your team. When you invite your team, that is when you have to then start, explaining the racing metrics to all of them, telling them that this is the racing metric and this is what is expected of everybody. This is their roles, these are responsibilities. So that is the need for racing metrics to help you to define roles and responsibilities. When you must have done some of these, you assemble the project team. And mind you, these are identifying stakeholders, even the BAs, everybody that works in a project needs to identify stakeholders. Everybody needs to know who are involved. Why BAs need to carry out their own stakeholder analysis is because some stakeholders we are going to go gather requirements. Is not the project manager that is going to go gather requirements. Is you. So you need to understand all the people that you are going to go gather requirement for. So it depends on whoever joined the project. In some cases, you find out that BA has been working on this project even before the project manager joins. At some point, you find out that project manager is working before the BA joins. At some point, both of them might join at the same time. So if the project manager started this project before you and have identified stakeholders, then good, you try to understand stakeholders as well from the project manager. But you should know what to identify stakeholders and the expectation. You ask questions. So let's come back to where we are. Assembling the project. You, the project manager, assembling the project team through project kickoff meeting. You assemble everybody. At this point, it might just be only you and the business analyst. It might be you and the other, but as you are looking at this kind of project, it's just you and the business analyst. Then you people need to come together and look at what needs to be done. And once it's done, you identify the scope of work. At this early stage, in order not to make mistake, identify the scope of work so that you know where you need to work or where you don't need to work. As you're going to go and gather requirements, even the business analyst, you must know the scope of work during your requirement gathering. So that is the meaning of identifying the scope of work. In so many cases, you see the project brief, they might have, clarify such areas, but you might not be lucky enough to get a very detailed project brief. So if you don't have it, you have to go do some of this for yourself, identify project scope. Then next, select project approach or methodology. You must understand the approach the company use for project management. So many companies might be using waterfall for their project. Some be using agile. Some whichever project methodology they are using, you try to use it. They are not going to tell you to use anyone. I'm sure of that. Every company have methodology they use. It's either mainly these days is agile approach. They can see some they are still using waterfall. Then you facilitate initial requirement gathering. Who is going to do that? BA. You are going to gather your requirements. Is their duty, is not project manager that do that for you. And once you do your requirement gathering, you document the requirements you've gathered. Once you finish documenting the requirements, you start requirement analysis, analyzing all the documented requirements, where you can use gap analysis or root cause analysis depending on the type of problem you are solving. And you can see the owners here is BA. You can't say you don't know what to do because he specified the owners here. Validate high-level requirement. When you do analysis, you need to have a high-level requirement. It's equally called, at times we call it to be. Then solutions evaluations. Once you have validated the requirement, after your analysis, you need to analyze the market to see all the potential solutions, the best fit for your solution, for the best fit vendor or software application for the kind of solution you are looking for. For instance, we are looking for a CRM solution. If you go to the market, we have so many CRM solutions. At times it will be difficult for you to, if you are not experienced, for you to choose a CRM. But if you're experienced, it'll be easier for you. Whichever way, if you apply solutions evaluation, it's going to be easy for you to analyze the market. When you're analyzing the market, there are so many factors. We are going to come on all these things. We are going to do them. So there's no need of me trying to explain all the deliverable or all the activities in details. I'm just trying to take us through of how we are going to approach a project or how you are going to deliver a project as a business analyst or as a project manager. Once you have done the solutions evaluation, at that point, you have selected few solutions or few software application for your organization, which you are going to be needing approval. But before you proceed, you need cost-benefit analysis. On the solutions you selected, you need to do appraisal. Cost-benefit analysis is you trying to weigh the cost of getting that solution and the benefit it's going to bring. So you need to weigh both of them in a scale. The benefit must be bigger than the cost, making the solution viable. You cannot bring a solution that is not cost effective. The cost is way higher than the benefit. It means that it's not a good investment. So you need to carry out a cost benefit analysis before you write business case. A business case is a document where you document everything you do today, write a report, advising the stakeholder or your client that this is the solution I think is the best to solve your problem because of so reasons. And then you start waiting for approval, whether they are going to accept or not. Once they approve the business case, then it means that they've agreed to implement the project or to implement whichever solution you've recommended. Mind you, you recommend, and then they take decision and approve. So once they have approved the business case, the project charter will kick in. So you need to create a project charter. A project charter is not a compulsory, but it's a very, very important. It helps in authorizing the project. Once the project charter, then it means the next thing is to start then designing the solution that need to be implemented. And to design the solution, you need to start with a project or a concrete project plan, a tentative project plan. By that time, you must have started your RAID. We all know what RAID is all about. RAID is about managing the risk. At this point, you see all the things you've done here. By this time, you must have been having challenges. You are trying to meet stakeholders. You are not meeting your stakeholders. time is past, time is running, and things. All these are challenges. All these are project risks. So you have to start documenting your risk and mitigating them through RAID meetings. Then you have project plans. Good project plan to help you implement the project very well. Then you start creating for BAs here. You start creating product backlog, which is user stories and acceptance criteria. That you start designing the solution. Then use cases and use case diagram, wireframes, test plan, test scenarios for BAs, and the next is then you have to start moving all these documents or all these like product backlog into Jira. You have to start refining them in Jira, validating, or you can do all this grooming before you move to Jira. You can equally groom them when you have moved them into Jira. Whichever one you choose, then you enter user story into Jira. From Jira, you create definition of ready checklist, then product backlog grooming inside Jira before you start the sprint. And then by this time, you see here is no longer business analyst alone or the project manager. In agile environments, we don't have project manager. So if the project manager is coming in here, the name will change. The project manager will become the Scrum Master. You will still be the business analyst, and two other people will join, which we'll call developer and product owner, and that's it. All of you will work together to groom, plan the sprint, and execute the sprint, and do sprint review. We call it sprint demo, or it's just testing what you have done. And you do sprint retrospective. Another name for sprint retrospective is what we call lesson learned. And once you've done a lesson learned, you launch the project. So, and that's it. Once that's done, obtain client acceptance form. Before you close the project, when you finish developing whatever you are developing, you need to obtain this form. This one is showing that the client or the product or the project sponsor is happy. He will sign off this project, meaning that, yes, I'm happy with what you've done. It's the BA that will do this, because the BA is the person that does almost the designing of the solution and selected the solution. So the project manager is there to monitor and make sure that everything is going perfectly well. So once the acceptance form is being signed, then the project manager will start officially to look at all the RAID and start closing them and start documenting lesson learned. And there's a meeting called post-implementation review. It can equally be called lesson learned or post, just to talk about what went well and what didn't go well, and how the project will continue to be run and maintained in the future. And then update all the business case. So not all the business case, you have a business case. If there is any changes or anything update, if there is no, move them to the project repository where every item need to be stored. So all the documents from the project need to be stored in a very well safe place. Most companies have their repository where you can go and look for past projects. So you move everything to that what we call repository. It's up to you to find out where, like in our own case, if we are using a FreeCamp will continue to be like, if now we finish our project, everything, all the documents from the project will be uploaded in FreeCamp, and it will be like it. And if we come back to FreeCamp, Even in 20 years, you'll still find them there. Any person joining, I want to see what all the projects we've done, we captured in the Freight.cap is going to be there. We make sure you move everything to the repository, and the project manager will write end of the project closure report. End of the project closure report, we summarize everything that happened in the project to show if we meet our targets, just for you to look at the expectation and the actual outcome of the project. So with that, we know if we fail or if we didn't fail and things like that. Once you write end of the project closure report, that is the end of the project. So that is how you approach a project. So, and that's it. All these things you need to do it. That's what you need to do to deliver a good project for your client, for your organization, whoever you are working. If you follow this systematic approach, follow everything one by one, then you are going to deliver a good project. And that's it. So that is what we are going to be taking one by one to understand every of these items, one after the other. So you can see it's a lot of work. So I cannot explain it now. I'm just highlighting on it. So for every of these items, we are going to be creating a document, so that you know how to do it when you start your own project on your own. You know how to create any of this. That is the main purpose of why we are here, to understand how to create all these items. All these things will end up in a document. Every of these items, we call them deliverable. They will come by the time you finish performing this task or activity. You need to create a deliverable. So how to perform this activity and create a document, that is the purpose of this. By the time you create all these documents, you pass through all these tasks here in these 4 stages and create all the relevant documentation, then you can call yourself a business analyst or a project manager. So that's it. And yeah, if you have any question, you can ask your question now. Yeah.
I think what you just explained so far is understandable. The process and the procedure of becoming business and project analyst is well understood. Thank you.
Okay. All right. The next thing is to follow them one after the other, which is not going to be in tonight's class. So this marks the beginning of a new project, which, like I said, we are going to call it Monify CRM. So the next thing we're going to be doing, we're going to look at project brief, which we are going to deliver next time. And I will look at identify stakeholders and just follow them sequentially. So that's it. Anybody who is scaring you about project manager or business analyst is just scaring you for nothing. And like me, I don't believe in these big textbooks, because so many cases, all these things we read in textbooks, we might not even, at times we read confusion into ourselves. So these are the things we are going to do. It's better you understand it from here like this, each of these items, understand what it is and how to do it. If you want to expand your knowledge, understand more, become good and fine, but start from here. Because even if you are working in Google, or you're working in Microsoft or Facebook or Downing Street or Westminster House of Parliament, even in White House, and if you are working on a project, you are still going to follow all this procedure. If you are working in nursery school or even in your house, you are still going to follow all these procedures. So this is what makes you a project manager. It's not those certifications. It's not about number of textbooks you've read. It's about knowing how to perform all these activities. Once you know how to perform them, when to perform them, and who to perform them, that is, you will become a project manager or you become a business analyst, and you will get a job. Most of the interview you are going to get, like I say, how do you approach a project as a business analyst, as a project manager? At this point, it might be difficult for you, but over time, you might not just in an interview, they might not be able to run, because they know it's going to be difficult to run the whole. They are not going to ask you the full project life cycle. I run this full project life cycle because I want you to know everything you need to do within a project. But if you're approaching it, it's just for, by the time the major thing here is how you kickstart the project, receiving a project brief, identifying your stakeholders and expectation, create a work breakdown structure, define roles and responsibility, and then assemble your project team and start the project. Once you say that, they know you know what you are doing. And that's it. You might not be coming to tell them all these things around that. Or just the key important thing, how do you do it till you can start a project? With your kickoff meeting. So some people will just say, the project manager, I call for the project kickoff meeting. You can't call for a project kickoff meeting until you gather some necessary documents you need to discuss at the project kickoff meeting. So that's it. So with this, if you don't have any more questions, that is how it is done. And we are not going to, I'm not going to say we finish business analysis, then let's start project. So as we are following the items, you know that if you are a business analyst, once you come to the role of, we will talk about it. Once you come to project manager, so you will talk about it and we'll be talking about them. Well, so, and you already here as a hybrid. You want to be a project manager and a business analyst at the same time, which is very good. And that is what I am, because I'm teaching what I do, what I've been doing. So, and what makes so many cases me important, some places I work, is that I come as a project manager and I equally knows a lot in business analysis. I can come as a business analyst and I knows a lot in project management. Yeah. Thank you. And as you can see, this is Tuesday. I've tried to do it in the day, it didn't work. I've tried to do it this way, so hopefully this timing is going to work. Some of us that are complaining, somebody like Doris is not even here, and the next time we start complaining, well, so I cannot. There's levels to what I can do for you. There are some things you need to do for yourself, and that's it. So that's all I can say on this issue. And I'm not going to change the timing again. This will remain till we finish this boot camp. There's no more moving it down during the day, or maybe say moving it to Friday, or it's going to be Monday and Tuesdays between 7 to 8 p.m. and that's it. So if you want to be faster, here we can still be faster if you cooperate, do what we ask to do, then we can move faster. So, but if you, whether you cooperate or not, if you are not cooperating, all I need to do is I keep moving. If I ask you to submit your delivery, if you do not submit, I'm not going to start here shouting on anybody. All of you are here. All of us here are adults. I'm not going to come here and start telling you, Mr. Adiola Paul, why didn't you submit your deliverable? This and that. Why am I going to do that? I didn't go force you come here. You are looking for this solution. This boot camp is a solution to some challenges, unemployment challenges, where you want to be. So it's up to you to use it the way you want it. I'm not going to come to you, Esther, to tell you, Esther, I'm not happy with you. I might tell you I'm not happy with you, but it will end there. I'm not going to start harassing you because you didn't come to meeting or you didn't attend this and that, because we're adults. If I'm here to handle a class for undergraduate people that are just secondary school leavers joining university, then I know it's my responsibility to mold them. At times I have to use harsh, to make them be molded. But at this point, most of us here, we know what we need. All we need to do is we make sacrifices, readjust our commitment, and we fit in. This is just a few period of time, and this job we are doing will be there forever. So if you miss it, the next thing you start complaining. If you didn't get it, well, there's always opportunity to get it right, but it might cost you extra time and extra money. So thank you for joining tonight's class.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
thank you. Before we go, sir, I want to give an advice to
Okay.
my classmates. Um, when in the first place I joined this course, I've been eager to know what it's all about. But last week, I now determined that since we are we have a we have we are prey to an internet here in England, we should how can I know the basis of this course? I want to know. I I now determined to go on YouTube. I type the what are the basis of business and project analysis. So there is a lot of something I gained there. So I'm using this medium to advise my colleague, I can say my classmate, that we should, when we have time in our own domain, we should try and go to YouTube. What we need to know, as Mr. Charles has told us this evening, the basis of this course. When we know the basis, that means it's finished. It's like somebody that want to drive and you know the basis of driving. So we let's go to on YouTube. I am advising the whole classmates that we should be going on YouTube, that we should know the basis of this course. That will help us a lot. I'm at work now, but I like my Amaka. I was somewhere dodging. I didn't see the screen, but what Mr. Shark is telling us this evening, give me a link to what the YouTube I've been watching, teaching myself. So I thank God. I think I'm grappling it little by little. Thank you, Mr. Shark. Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Paul. all these things we do here, although I used to have all of them in YouTube, but because it's paid content, I've minimized the way I share it to YouTube so that you can watch it in post-mortem. But it's good. We have a lot of good content in YouTube we can equally watch. So there's a lot of information out there. Let us equally try to be guided when we're watching other things or reading so that we won't be so much distracted or confusion. Like if you are looking at stakeholder analysis, so many people might come with stakeholder analysis explanation, and you start struggling on what is the best explanation or approach to stakeholder analysis. But like what you do is good. Try to expand your knowledge, learn other things, learn a lot. A project manager and a business analyst, we are consultants. And as a consultant, you read so vastly. So thank you. All right, and that will bring us to the end of tonight's session, and I'll see you very soon.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. Good
Thank
night, and
you.
enjoy the rest of the evening.
You too.